Howdy. Unfortunately, it's a sad truth that arseholes, liars and knobheads are all around, and in the 25 odd years that I've been around in business, I would like to think that I'm able to spot people, but the harsh reality is I'm too trusting, still after all this time, too trusting of people. And the big lesson is that you cannot assume people are going to act in the same way that you would act. I keep a list of everybody that's ever done me over, mainly financially, and I keep that list. And that list has been ongoing since 1996. And the first entry on the list was a guy that ripped me off for £420. Some would say it's unhealthy to do such a thing and keep a list of people that have done me over and ripped me off or whatever. I say it reminds me that it happens and it continues to happen, which I'm quite sad about. Some would say I'm not very good at picking people to work with. Throughout the years, I have had people rip me off, lie, and be generally arseholes in deals in business that they're doing with me. One guy ripped me off in '99 for $15,000. Another guy, it's a very well-known guy, in 2010 ripped me off for $25,000. And just recently, I wouldn't say I've been ripped off, but I've encountered another arsehole. A little bit about the situation. I've been working on a new business project for the last 8 months. I was introduced by this guy by someone who I trust, and this guy had known this person for over 20 years. Initially started working with a guy on a pay-per-month basis. He was good. Then decided to partner him on a very big project that's supposed to have launched in November. A couple of days before this project was really going to start happening and launch, I find out that this guy has been lying to me about the progress of the project for the last 3 to 4 months. Even up until 48 hours before I actually found out, he was lying to me about the progress of the project. Subsequently, cost me a lot of money, cost me a massive amount of fallout as a result of everything else being in place for this thing ready to launch that ultimately was in no way ready to launch. And another idiot that for some reason chose to lie about the progress of the project. Subsequently, like I said, the fallout from this the last 2 months has been a nightmare. Now, I'm gutted with myself that I was in a position where the reality is this person had a lot of the power and a lot of the control of the project, and that he came clean, lied to me, and I'm still in a situation where I'm actually having to rely on that person for now. But the harsh reality is you're going to find them. You are going to find people that lie for whatever reason. Intention's everything. I keep saying intention's everything. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it was his intention to completely lie to me all the way through. I don't think it was a lie that this person started from the get-go, but I do believe for 3 to 4 months prior to this thing being ready, he was lying to me about the progress and lying to many other people. And like I said, causes a hell of a lot of fallout, a hell of a lot of repercussions as a result. And if you're putting yourself out there and you're busy and you're trying to develop your life or your business, you are going to meet these people. Not everyone, like I said, not everyone has the same values and rules as you. Now, the flip side of this is some people ultimately will think I'm an asshole. I hope not many people think I'm a liar. And some people will ultimately think I'm a knobhead. I'm all right with that, because anything that's ever gone wrong with my stuff, the intention's always been for it to work. And ultimately, I try my very best to make good on anything that happens. Flipping it back to people that cost you, you will attract them if you're putting yourself out there. And I've just seen a friend of mine log on, and ultimately they've got a great business now, but to get that business and to get the staff that they've got in place, they've had to go through tens and tens and tens of people to be able to get the team that they've now got. different people are a different breed, especially if you're dealing with technical coder type people. They think completely different to we do from a business perspective. If you're dealing with coders, you can have a coder tell you things done 80% done and they've not even started it yet. Why people lie like this, I don't know. If you're going into partnerships with anybody, and I've said about this before on a video, I haven't had the best of luck with partnerships, and I've come to the conclusion that I'm not actually that great with partnerships. I'm best to do stuff on my own. But sometimes, like I've said before, if the other party brings the technical side or the skills that you haven't got, it's necessary to bring those people in. And in my particular case that I've just been talking about, there's no way I could have done this project myself. The guy came to me highly recommended, which ultimately brings a lot of embarrassment and stress to the guy that introduced the person to me. I'm in a situation with that I'm having to wait on them to fulfill their promises. Then I've got to make a decision based on what I see, what I do. But I know for a fact, long term, I won't be working with a person because I just don't trust them. They lie to me once, lie to me once, okay, depending on the circumstance. If it was an out and out lie, if it was a situation based lie to me again, you're finished. And that's what's happened. The person's lied to me and not fulfilled their promises multiple times now. So, there's a big difference between lying and failing to get something done. I'm not saying, things go wrong all the time, and not everything happens as it's supposed to and when it's supposed to. I'm all right with that, but I would much prefer to know, listen, this isn't going to happen in this time, and then you can readjust your business and your plans around that. Instead of 2 days before the whole thing's ready to launch, I then get 48 hours radio silence, and I'm told then, eventually, after tracking the fucker down, yeah, I'm sorry I lied to you. So, it's a hard thing to avoid assholes. It's a hard thing to avoid liars. I have attracted, and I'm really pissed off with myself that I've attracted my fair share of people that, for whatever reason, have turned out to be like that. I guess I'm just not very good at picking these people. So, I don't know. Please don't blog and drive, it's dangerous, it sets a bad example. Thank you, Colin. Well, trust me, I read your comment as I was pulling up to traffic lights, and I'm not reading comments when I'm driving, but thank you for the input. So, I think personally, if you're not, if you have the chance of not being out, if you can do something yourself, but it's going to take you longer rather than having to rely completely on somebody else, that's the best way of doing it. So, and like I said in a video of mine a couple of weeks ago, if you're going with partnerships and you're choosing a partnership, be very careful about that partnership. The partnership of, if you're going into business partnership with somebody, make sure you're aligned in the same way. Make sure the end goal's the same. Make sure that you want the same things. Make sure that the exit plan, if you've got one, is the same. Make sure that the earnings expectations are the same, and make sure that the roles and responsibilities are well defined beforehand, because honestly it can cause a lot of problems if they're not. So that's my input on them. If you've found and you've had if you've had the unfortunate luck to attract one of these, it's ultimately about is the balance of power in your favor, and if it's not, and unfortunately you may have to cut your losses, I would cut your losses in doing so. It's I've got a situation now where I had to decide in early December, do I cut my losses and start again, or do I carry on? And I've, for various reasons, the sheer amount of money into this project and shit and everything, that all of the different factors, I decided that I was going to continue, because that at the time made most sense. Now, time will tell if I've made the right decision or not to stick with it for now and see what happens. But if somebody's lied to me once, I'm always going to remember that, and I'm never going to want to deal long term with them ever again. I'm not driving over to them, sort them out. Now I'm going to an appointment to get stuck with needles, Fabian. And the reason that I blog in my car, and I don't look at the screen when I'm driving, but now I'm in traffic, so I don't see any reason with looking at the screen, is that actually I'm using my time to the best of its ability. And I decide that sometimes I'm going to do a Facebook Live because actually I've got half an hour, and aside from any phone calls I've got to make, I'm doing one of these. And I honestly believe that I don't put people in danger, and it sets a bad example, but each to their own, I guess. Anyway, I've got to go now because I am nearly at my appointment. But yeah, try and steer clear. You're going to get them. You are going to attract people that rip you off. I've got a list of them. I must have been ripped off countless amounts. I'll have to add the amount up actually at one point. But ever since 1996, I've kept this list. And unfortunately, despite the 25 years of being around and hopefully knowing people, I still get caught. And I'm being told by friends and colleagues all the time that I'm still too trusting. And ultimately, that's something that hopefully I will continue to not keep doing at some point. Right, guys, catch you soon. I hope this has been of some benefit to you, and I will catch you very soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Keep it real.